Welcome to Module 4, Learning Skills and Strategies. So we will look at a scenario and we'll look up. Here's the scenario. Kyle has always been a very hands-on student. So within your D2L shell, you're going to see a link for the VARC questionnaire. The VARC questionnaire is a questionnaire that helps you to determine if you're a visual, oral, which means auditory, read-write, or kinesthetic learner. When you're answering the questions, the way to answer the VARC questionnaire correctly is to make sure that when you look at the answers that you check off as many of the answers that pertain to you. Once you complete the VARC assessment, it will give you 4 letters and there will be numbers on the top of those letters that will tell you if you're more of a visual learner, if you're more of an auditory learner, if you're more of a read-write learner, or a kinesthetic, which means hands-on learner. So again, if you turn out to be a V or a visual learner, then you have a preference for pictures, diagrams, and illustrations. If you turn out to be an A for oral or auditory learner, then you have a preference for listening to lectures, recordings, and anything that might be auditory. If you're a read-write learner, then you may have a preference for reading material and writing summations. If you're a kinesthetic or hands-on learner, you may have a preference for experiences, for observations, for activities, and for experimentation. If you notice in the center, there's something called multimodal. What that means is you could be all 4, you could be a combination of 2 or 3. So in order to complete the VARC activity, you will upload your scores to D2L. So under VARC Learning Strategies, you'll upload your scores there. You're next going to move on to note taking. So do you have a particular style? You're going to be doing a note-taking assignment, and you may use the Cornell note-taking method. You might use the outlining. You might even use mind mapping. In either case, or in any of the cases, you're going to be doing an exercise in this module on note-taking. So look out for it in your assignments. Now, let's move on to test taking. When you see words like tests, quizzes, or exams, do you start to sweat? Does your heart rate speed up? Do you feel like you're not good at test taking? Well, again, in this module, you're going to be doing an exercise on test taking because let's face it, students, you're going to be doing a lot of tests, quizzes, and exams in your academic career. And honestly, beyond in your careers, you're going to find yourself doing a lot of tests, a lot of quizzes, and a lot of assessments. So for your note-taking assignment, you are going to download and complete a Word document attachment while watching the video on test-taking strategies in student lingo. Then you'll upload your completed document to the Dropbox. So let's review. In this module, you learned how to identify your learning styles and preferred learning strategies. You learned how to identify effective techniques to improve your study skills such as your note-taking and test-taking and test anxiety. You learned how to utilize techniques for effective problem-solving and decision-making, and you learned how to apply knowledge of effective reading skills and strategies to your required readings. So, in order to complete your assignments, you'll go to do. Finally, if you have questions, don't hesitate to email me. And let's talk about Kyle. Kyle is a hands-on learner. In the learning styles inventory, he would be kinesthetic, which means that he is going to have to do some work outside of the classroom, some practice work, maybe studying with others in order for the information to be able to sink in for him. Kyle is a kinesthetic learner, and that means that the professor's information sharing is going to be difficult for Kyle to use by itself. He's going to need to do some hands-on learning outside of the classroom, maybe in a study group or with others. See you in the next module.